enough of the blood. Enough of the blood. I'm looking for Quest. I'm looking for Quest. I'm gonna beam me up, Scotty. Quest. Beam me up. Beam me up. There we go. There we go. What's up, my
Yo,
dude?
let me tell you something. The blood is necessary in more ways than one.
No doubt.
The
I
blood
know
is
what you mean.
necessary.
I know what you mean spiritually, but yeah, I got you.
I need you to know what I'm heartily do.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
At
Amen.
this
Amen.
age, the blood is essential.
Amen. Amen. Quest, how
Yes,
you doing,
indeed.
man? How you
Man, I
doing? How you
can't,
doing?
man, I can't complain, man. I can't complain, man. I am super, super duper psyched.
Yeah.
Um, about some of the stuff that we got. Yeah, when we get all the peeps on this evening, we're gonna dive deeper into it. But
D-
this week has been a week of excitement, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, it just goes to show when people get together, touch and agree, and be on
Yeah.
one accord. It ain't nothing you can't do.
Nothing at all.
Nothing you
Nothing at all.
can't
Hold
do.
on. Let me. Somebody just said they're hearing a big echo, so let me just take
Oh
care of
yeah,
this right
yeah,
there. And that was from Phil Wesley. Phil Wesley, how you
yeah.
doing, bro?
Oh, shouts out to Phil.
Phil Wesley. Yo,
Shouts
it's
out to Phil.
always a pleasure, Phil. Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
I,
no doubt. No doubt. No doubt.
um,
How you been, man? That's the question.
I've been good, man.
Yeah.
I've been good. Just taking it day by day, little by little. I got
Word.
to tell you, man. You guys, man, has sparked something in me, man. It's crazy, you know. You really sparked something in me. So I'm
I,
really excited about, what we're gonna be doing, what we're gonna be saying, what we're gonna be talking about tonight.
mhm.
What? Why are y'all?
I want to say this, and then we'll dive into it later on. Save the
All right,
date. That's all I'm just telling you. Save the date,
save the date. I'm
and I'll
trying to.
give you the date. The February 28th to March 2nd. Save the
That's
date.
it. That's it. That's it. And we'll
Set it.
talk a little bit more about that in a
Oh yeah,
little
no
bit.
doubt. No
We're
doubt.
definitely talking. Hey, Phil Wesley, do me a favor. If you're there, just send me a hello on my text just for a moment. Just send me a hello on my text on my phone just for a second, real
For a
quick.
second.
All right, man. I don't know, man. My dogs are bugging out, man. They're crying and carrying. Hey, come here, come here. There's only one dog in the house. There's only one dog in the house.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what he's
You know
doing,
what
man.
I'm
I gotta call the wifey, tell her to come get them.
saying? Yeah.
I see my man on right now from Tennessee.
Hmm.
My man Don from Tennessee, man, pastor out there. He pastors I think the Hispanic church on the campus of Southern University.
Southern
It's always a
University.
pleasure,
That's what's
man, to
up.
see him, man. Always a pleasure to see him. So
Yeah.
listen, man, I
Yeah.
want to share something with you before we begin.
Can I do something before you share that? I want to
Absolutely,
tell
absolutely.
everybody, like for real, if you're tuning in right now to the Unscripted Conversations with Paul, with P and Q, stay on your P's and Q's. You feel me? If you're tuning in right now, do me a favor, share this stream with 5 people. Share this
Yeah,
live with five
yeah.
people, because I guarantee you the unscripteds always jump off in a special way, and I am assuming that the rest of the fam, will be on tonight. At some point in time, the ladies will be on later. Yes. Yeah. Okay. He
Yeah,
said yeah. He
yeah,
said yeah.
yeah. They're gonna.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead and start sharing this now with 5 people. And yeah, man, let's make this thing rich tonight. So yeah, you were saying now.
Yeah. So my excitement this week, man, has been
Mm-hmm.
just the mindset of we're talking. I love getting insight
Mm-hmm.
from different people, but to get insight like last week from Terry and from Sade and from Armina
Mm-hmm.
and just talking things through and understanding, man. I think it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
absolutely crazy where we're going with this at this point. Where we're going with this. So this somebody sent me this video, and when she sent me this video, I sent it to a men's group, and then I sent it
Mhm.
to a group with women and men in there. Okay,
Wait, you sent it to a men's group first?
first, right? It's just a
Uh-huh.
group of 6 guys that I hang
Uh-huh.
out with.
Uh-huh.
Well, is married couples that hang out, with, right? So I
Okay.
sent it to the guys,
Okay.
and then the next one I sent to the women with the men on there. Okay, all right. The video is about a woman who comes up, right? And for those who are in the green room in the back, just if you want to kind of hear me out, and that she is saying that one of the reasons why families are not stronger today, right, is because when men do not step up and cover their wives, whether it's spiritually, whether it's physically, or the whole nine, it breaks the whole family apart. Now, what got me is that when she finished, the women were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But the guys were like, a few of the guys were like, yo, that's one-sided. Right. So, and so as I'm listening to it, I'm figuring out, how can a man, right, cover a woman or cover his wife if his wife is not allowing him to cover? All right. So I'm just gonna share that.
Can we pause for a moment? When you say not allowing him to cover, let's I want you to be specific real quick.
So listen, man. Listen. This is why this stinking panel is about to come on, because they can add what they want to add. I wanna say just to add a couple of people on right now. First of all, Armina, I'm gonna say is the queen of comebacks.
You know what I'm saying? That's the fam right there.
Don't stress it, Pearls. Don't stress it, Pearls. Don't stress it, Pearls.
Mina.
Don't stress it. Dr. Parks, I'm so glad that he's finished working on a couple of things. I don't know, the Lions should not be there, but I respect them. Okay, I respect them.
Yo, I'm just gonna take my hat off because you know what I'm saying. I'm not a hater. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Hating or having anger towards everyone reaching success. That's what a hater is.
I mean, I have to come see you for some therapy.
Oh my goodness!
Traumatic loss.
I refuse to have anger towards anyone or everyone reaching success. I refuse.
Terry, I thought about you today. I was about to reach out and offer you a free session.
I need one.
My God.
I need one.
And then we got
taking all of our coaches. Dan has, Ben has gone to Chicago. No.
Wow. But then we have somebody who, I don't know if I could put her business out there, but I'm just saying somebody's girl tripping. That's all I'm saying. Somebody's girl tripping and is hanging out with us tonight. Des, how you doing, girl?
Yes. Hello.
Sister Moody. How are you?
Now, Sister Moody, can you turn your camera to the side like that?
Praise
there
God.
we go. Thank you. There we go.
Hey, Sister Green, Moody.
Hello, ma'am.
Sister Green Moody. One day we're going to talk about this hyphenated stuff going on. All right, here we go. Green Moody.
You know what? Usually I would have, I would agree with you, but there's something about that name Green that I don't know if I'm ready to encourage her to just let
that name Green go.
I'm not hyphenated.
You're not hyphenated, right?
I only called her Green Moody because I know her as Green.
As Green, that's right. That's right. She's one of the
though.
Armina, she's one of the Green girls. That's all. That's all we can say. She's one of the Green girls. And I just wanted to just give a shout out to my man Phil. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's happening now?
Good, man. I mean, your head is bald nicely,
bro.
I'm gonna give kudos.
That new clipper, you know.
Is that new clipper?
Yeah. The thing it wraps.
Is that the one with the 3 joints on it?
Yeah, that's right, baby.
So, do you like it or what?
I love it every day.
Baby bottom soft.
Every day.
Yes, baby. Yes.
All I see is me represent.
Now you know I wanted to bring this person on last simply because there's a lot of red. There's a lot of red in this picture coming up. You know what I mean?
Can I? Yeah, for the one and only.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, that's enough. I don't want us to get banged for what I'm saying.
Right.
Real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen. Oh my. First lady.
Yo, First Lady, you can't come on with a red heart and red lips.
Oh no,
You're matching lips and heart.
and okay, I'm okay. I know we bleed blue, New Yorkers bleed blue, but I'm just gonna kindly just remove this real quick, and I'm just gonna let me just.
First Lady, you working it today, First Lady.
First Lady is on.
Praise God. Praise God.
Listen, everybody, I just was talking a little bit about and I know, Phil, I just pulled you in on this, but is wherever your mindset would be. So you heard me say this before. Is it really that important for a man to cover his wife? I'm talking about spiritually, protecting her in that manner. And if he does not do that, the breakdown of the family is his fault. I just want to hear your thoughts on that. Even if you could take it somewhere else, it's up to you. What is your thoughts? Because even in the green room, Sade, I saw you just like attitudinal. You know what I'm saying? So, and I was looking at Desiree's face. So I'm gonna start with Desiree. The girl's tripping. You know, what you think about that? You could talk about your own man if you want. You could talk about your own man if you want, and you could talk about your own man if you want. It's up to you. What you think about that? Covering is his part. Is up to him. If not, what's up? What's your thoughts?
So I actually disagree.
Okay.
I do not think I do think I'm a traditional Southern woman. I do believe in roles, and not in a hierarchy way, but just in a way that I believe God designed us.
Okay.
Now, I believe in partnership, which means we both are responsible for this goal. I tell people I'm 100% responsible for my children, and my husband is 100% responsible. So if today I'm giving 60, he needs to give 40. So in this instance, when we're talking about the covering, ideally, should the man cover his wife? Absolutely. Protect his wife? Absolutely. If that is not happening and they decline, is it his fault? No. It is their fault.
It is whose fault? The woman's fault?
Their fault. And if
their fault.
And if she's not allowing him to cover her, it is their fault. Because just because she's not allowing him does not exempt him from still doing it.
Ooh.
So it is their fault. So whatever happens, you can't be in a marital mess by yourself. Y'all are both married. The consequences are both. So if she has to give that 100% to mitigate whatever damage is done because he's not covering, then she needs to lean on God and do that until he gets it together.
Oh.
That is my response.
Their fault.
Their fault. Their fault. Their consequence. Their problem.
Wow.
Because Adam and Eve got kicked out the garden.
Okay, I like that. But spiritually speaking, God came for Adam.
Correct.
He said, Adam, Adam, I'm looking for you because you're responsible. But what you're saying is that it becomes a both problem instead of a one problem. That's what you're saying.
Yes, but just because God looked for them, he said it was a mistake whose fault. The question was when they declined, the consequences. Whose fault are the consequences? Theirs. Okay. Both of them had to go.
Okay. Wow. Both of them had to go. The consequence was on both of them. Okay. I got you. Phil, what's your mindset, spiritual man?
Man, I like the point you put out, especially with the garden. That's where everything starts. That's where the whole problem starts with where we are right now. It goes back to that tree. It goes back to the breakdown in communication, breakdown in obedience to God.
Wow.
Breakdown in focus and determination to do our own thing. So everything that we're struggling with right now happened at that tree. It's rooted right back there. And you're right. God came for Adam first. He was supposed to cover. He was supposed to be the one making sure, everything, because he was right there. So he was supposed to lead everybody back to the word. He came first, lead back to the word. And sometimes that's not.
So Phil, you think the decline of many families today is that the man is not leading back to the word?
I believe that if more men were leading their family in the word, their family would follow. I'm not saying nothing's 100%, but I've seen cases where the decline in spirituality started with the man of the home.
Wow. Okay. Single, Miss Single. What's your thoughts? Red lip.
So that's what I'm praying for. I'm praying for that covering. I think when you're single for so long, you desire that protection and you desire that covering. My mother always taught me that the husband is the head and the wife is the neck. If your neck is broken, your head can't move, right? And so we have to understand that covering is necessary for that's what the man is supposed to do, right? And to the point of, let me put it to you this way: I can't deny your covering, right? I
Mm-hmm.
can act outside of your covering, but I can't deny it. If my husband is praying and fasting for our family, God is still going to do what he's going to do. I can deny it. I can deny the blessings, or I can deny whatever's happening, but I cannot say, you can't pray for me. You can't fast for me. You can't worship on my behalf. Like, I can't, if he's really governing himself, as Phil said in the word, I can't make that man stop praying for me. Now, if he gets discouraged in his well-doing, that's the thing. But
She said,
I mean, because if you look at Jose and Gomer, like, I'm gonna keep going, even though it's not looking like what I wanted to look like.
right.
Can't deny the power of his covering, and that's something I can't do myself. Which is why, as the single one, that's what you desire, is that covering and that protection.
So Terry, I want to ask you this real quick. I'm going to say, as a divorcee, right? I'm just saying, as a divorcee, do you find that is something that you would do first in a relationship, or would you just really say that, listen, I'm about something first and then the covering later? Do you start the covering beforehand? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, we start covering when we get married and not when we're dating. You know what I'm saying? Just give me your thoughts on that, and then let's start getting into this.
I think that everything that you want, you should be putting on the table in the very beginning. Okay?
Wow.
And so I think a lot of what happens is, in relationships, we put the horse before the cart. And so, we find ourselves later trying to swim upstream, and it's hard because you set one thing, and then all of a sudden now it's you want to change. And they're like, well, I don't know. We were doing fine this way. Why are we, why is the script changing now? You didn't go to church like that before. You didn't get into, And so I think that when you talk about the failure, of the family, you can't lead somebody who doesn't want to go where you're trying to go.
Boom.
So if you want to blame it on the man, then if we're going that route, then it has to be in his choice. His picker was wrong. Okay, the picker was wrong, because the bottom line is, if and I hate to say this because you hear women say it all the time. Well, if he knows how to lead, then I'll follow. Okay, so then my question is, do you consider yourself a Christian? Oh, yes, I'm a God-fearing woman. So what if God said that to you? That sounds kind of conditional, doesn't it? Sounds kind of conditional. So since you can't lead, since you can't do this, then I'm not going to save you. I'm not going to bless you. I'm not going to do whatever. We still get blessed in spite of. Do we not? Still gets. So when you say, if he knows how to lead, I'm going to follow. Yeah. That sounds
Do they really follow?
Okay.
And so,
yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I have the floor. And let's say this. Let's not say but. Let's say however. Okay. Let's just say however. Okay. So therefore, I understand. But here's the thing. You say if he knows how to lead. Now I'm getting ready to get a lot of buts. It goes back to exactly what I said about the man. You know the dude can't leave when you first meet him. So then what are you talking about? So then guess what? If I make a bad choice, I can guarantee you, everybody on here, we always see what? Red flags. And I always say what? Stop trying to turn red flags green. They'll never turn green. They won't even turn yellow.
Say that.
So if you're
Come on.
guess what? And maybe Amina can help me out here. Your personality forms at a very early age. You're going to be who you are. Can people change? Yes. But will they? No. Because change requires what? Accountability. And nobody wants to be accountable. So therefore, what do I need to change for? There's nothing wrong with me. It's you.
Desiree, what you thinking, Desiree?
Let's keep it 100. With the Adventist Church, a lot of people have been heavily indoctrinated to fake the funk. They know how to show up on Sabbath and act this way and do this and check this box and look like this and look like that. And while y'all are dating, that person is a Sabbath keeper. That person is the best dresser. That person is on the deacon board, and that person is helping the young people get to convocations and all of this carrying on. And then y'all get married, and then all of a sudden, oh, actually this, oh, actually that. Adventists are very good at checking those boxes because that is how we are indoctrinated to believe that you can please God by checking all of these boxes. But you can only the funk for but so long, but then you can't date too long because blah, blah, blah. So you're hoping you get married to this person who was great.
Well, what's blah, blah, blah? What's blah, blah, blah? You can't date too long because blah, blah, blah. I don't know what blah, blah, blah is.
So they don't want people are going to start knowing that you're already having sex because y'all can't possibly not be having sex since y'all been dating this long. Whatever. So
beautiful.
That's what it is. And so you want so now y'all are married, and then it's like, oh well, if he knew how to lead, I would follow. You should not be a fool. If this person is not leading you in the covering you in the way that God should instruct a man to do, it is asinine to follow. So women are naturally submissive. A woman loves a man who tells her, hey, I got this. This is what we're doing. Here's what's going on. And it's for the best interest of her and for her family. When a man is not leading, women are naturally submissive, especially Black and Hispanic women, naturally submissive. But when you are leading us over a cliff, and especially if I got kids, it's a hell no. So, yes, I feel what you're saying, brother. But however, not everybody.
However, she used however,
because I'm submissive. But things do manifest themselves differently also. So I'll give an example, personal example. When my husband and I were dating, he is very spontaneous. I plan everything. But when we were dating and I needed it out and we had no kids, him being spontaneous was the greatest thing in the world. Now that we are married and we have children and we have obligations, you cannot just be spontaneous. So what I love so much, and then now is really a gripe, things manifest themselves differently when you do get married. See, if you did know some things, when you get married, it manifests itself differently. And sometimes these Adventist men know how to check these boxes, and you don't really know what you're getting. And now you're expected to follow.
That's a scary thing.
A cliff. Very scary. So over a cliff.
It's a scary thing.
It goes back to you need to be, if you have to be the person that is the neck, like Sade said for right now, then go ahead. And baby, if Delilah can get Samson to do that, trust and believe you can get your husband you can be that neck until he can listen to God to lead.
Wow.
So can I just jump in? Because
I
have like so many thoughts running through my head. But the first one I want to share is there's a theme that we're consistently talking about each week, and that is communication. Just because the church and just because the word says that the man should be the head, okay? Let's unpack what that even looks like and sounds like.
I hate these clinical people.
It's going to be different.
Right.
Like there are times where in my marriage where we're like, you got this or I got this. Like there's that conversation. And so it doesn't become like a consistent because you are the male in the house that you absolutely are going to lead everything. There are pros and cons to being the leader. And I want to touch on the cons because y'all are talking about the pros, but I'm not hearing some of the cons.
All right.
First, and I made some notes while y'all was talking because I'm having a birthday this week, so I'm going to forget things. The first con that I want to talk about is the potential for misinterpretation.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, the leader role may be used to justify controlling and abusive behaviors. And if the woman or the wife in the marriage is so submissive that those red flags that Terry's talking about, that she doesn't see them as red flags because that's what the man is supposed to do. So that could be a potential issue. Then you have, the misunderstanding as dominance rather than servant leader. So when we're talking about leadership, we got to break down what even that is, right? And then, there's this whole, and we don't talk about this, but there is literally a modern day challenge that we're in. I mean, today's Martin Luther King Day, and we're talking about equality and justice for all. I'm gonna just stop right there because I have more, but I'll just stop right there.
Are you trying to cover me as a wife?
Armina, is that what I'm saying? Is that I'm covering you?
I'm just asking, sis. I'm just asking the way you want equality. Are you talking about spiritual equality? Are you talking about role quality, or you what? I mean, maybe I missed it. What are you saying?
No, when I'm saying equality goes back to, I believe it was Desiree that might have said it, where we are 100% together in this.
Okay.
There are major decisions that have to be made in my household, and my husband and I talked about this from day one. Those major decisions fall on him, and I'm okay with that. He's okay with that because we're not going to fight over who believes what, right? So there are different things and it's all too based on our strength, but that's our house. Not everybody's house is like that.
That's right. Right.
And we take everything to the Lord in prayer. And so before we're making a decision, we already got clarity from God and where we need to go. And I will say 9 out of 10 times, we're always on the same page. When we're not on the same page, it's because I want my way. Not because I feel like what he's saying is the right way. I just want it my way.
Okay. Go ahead, Shadi, because I got something for y'all. I just go ahead.
The thing that I think we have to
hurt too. I can't wait.
As the single one, I think when we come out of the realm of wanting to be a groom and a bride, to Desiree's point, when dating, and to even Terry's point, those boxes that you check off are usually superficial boxes. Yes, you go to Sabbath school, but when we have a random conversation on Tuesday and I say I'm having a rough day, do you say, babe, let's stop and pray about it? That's covering me, right? But I have to see that. I can't expect that to happen all of a sudden when we're married, but in dating, I'm not looking for it. So I think a lot of times these superficial boxes that we have to become a bride or a groom are not necessarily transferable to wife and husband or leader and submissive mate.
Well, because we're not taught, we don't sit in church and hear about what that looks like.
Right.
Let me give you a quick example. I walked outside my house today. It snowed, and the snow was like, I could have turned on the defroster and it would have just melted it. Homeboy was out there cleaning my car. I didn't have to ask you to clean my car. I didn't say, hey, he was like, oh, y'all heading out? And I was like, yes. He was parked in front of me, so he had to move his car. Homeboy could have jumped in his car and just moved it. But he didn't do that. He cleaned off my car. So
you talking about your husband?
Who else would I be? Yes.
Okay, so did he do it as a response from the night before or the morning? Or did he do it because he did it for you?
He did it because that's how he covers me. He wanted to make sure that when I came outside, my car was clean and all me and baby girl had to do was get in the car and drive.
Just asking you a simple question.
I know. I'm just passionate about these things. I'm just
No. What I'm saying to you is it a response? Because what we find a lot when people come to me and speak to me, people don't do that unless you're serving him. Or you understand where I'm coming from? So, would he do it? Would he do it even if you're not serving him? Even if you're not serving him, would he do it?
All right. So my mind goes someplace else. So I'll say, he worked a double last night. So there was no serving happening last night, but he woke up early this morning and still got the car cleaned off. But
that's what I'm talking about.
It's one thing is not contingent on the other, right?
But so was there serving after he cleaned the car?
Oh, it was like the most. No.
I think we forget that true leadership does not look for It's not a reciprocal. It's not
reciprocal. Yes.
Something in hopes that you're going to do something for me. This is who I am. And what I hear her saying is this is who her husband is. Whether we're good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, you're still my wife, and I'm going to make sure you're good.
Right. And there was like, this wasn't, him cleaning off the car wasn't a reward to me for doing something for him. And when he did, my response to him was like, oh, look at you. Thanks, boo. And I got in the car and I left. No kids, no nothing, because we were just trying to get out. But I think sometimes words of affirmation, I mean, if you know your spouse's love language, you speak it, it's as giving them the cookies, you know, or as giving them whatever the other thing is. But if you speak their language and you appreciate them, that's just how it works in my household. I don't know about everyone, but I do know when couples come and see me, what I'm asking them is, what language do you guys speak in your house? Because if you speak Greek and speaking French, there's no way that y'all are on that same page. Y'all aren't even understanding the conversation within the marriage.
Can I tell you the comment that's on the? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mindy.
No, I was just going to say that when we're in marriage, I say this all the time. I am enrolled in his university and he is enrolled in mine. So we're always going to be learning of each other because we're consistently growing. We're not the same as we were 10 years ago. We have really changed a lot. And now we have a daughter, we have a fur baby, like we're just evolving. And so if I graduate out of his university, I will never learn him until Jesus comes.
Watch yourself. Phil, I'm going to get to you soon, but why don't you just address this real quick? We aren't taught to be submissive, nor is he taught how to lead.
Can I speak
What's your
to
thoughts? That? Okay. And Phil, I want you to share your thoughts on that too.
I got comments on that as well.
So,
okay, cool.
My mother was divorced from my father when I was 6 years old. Okay. From the time I was 6 to the time I was 20, that's all I saw was her as independent VP of a bank doing all the things. When my mother got married to my stepfather, I physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially saw her go from single to wife. She never had to say, this is how you be submissive. It was, I'm not eating dinner till my husband comes home. I'm sorry, what? I make sure my husband's clothes are ready for him on the weekend. I'm sorry, what? And so she never had to sit down and say, this is how you take care of a man. She showed me, but it was because I saw her as single for 14 years. And then I saw her make that shift to wife. And I saw how when she became a wife, one, her children were not the most important thing, not to say anything, but her husband was, that was her priority. Her children were taken care of, but I saw how my mother was selfless. And I saw how servant leadership produces servant discipleship, right? My stepfather doesn't have to worry about.
I'm sorry. Can you back up a little bit and just say that one more time? Because I think that when you say that stuff too quick, people don't get an opportunity to grasp. Because there's a thing called okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's true. Servant leadership, it produces servant discipleship. And it's not just from husband to wife, but wife to children. When my mother was in the hospital this summer, my mom was in the hospital for 32 days. My mother is going into surgery. She's saying, make sure y'all take care of my husband. My stepfather did not have to do anything. We got his meals. We made sure he was taken care of, in addition to taking care of our mother. So that teaches me as their child, as the product of their servant leadership, discipleship, their covering. When I have the opportunity to be married, I'm to honor my husband in that same way. So I think a lot of times we think we're not taught, but we are. We are watching relationships daily. It's just what we choose to gain from them is what we implicate in our own relationships.
Okay, go ahead, Desmond and Phil. I want you just start addressing some of this, but go ahead, Des, and then I'm going to go right back to this question here of how do we learn to be a leader? But go ahead.
All right, two quick things directly to that comment. I don't think that we are. I don't think that it's that we are not taught how to be submissive naturally. I think those are the roles. I think we are taught how not to be. And that's why it's always going to be uncomfortable and it's always going to cause strife.
My gosh.
We allow our traumas, we allow our circumstances, our situation to teach us coping mechanisms that are against the natural design of God.
Wow.
The point to what Sade was saying, I was talking to my girls about this actually this weekend. A man doesn't make a woman a wife. The Bible says a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. A wife is a type. She's already a wife. She's now your wife. But a wife is a type. So your mom didn't become that way because your dad said, okay, will you marry me? She was that way already. She was always that type. She's became that person for him.
What you saying, Des, is that a man does not find a woman and make her a wife.
Correct.
According to the Bible, what you're saying is that a man goes out there and finds the wife.
The wife, like, and as the streets say, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. You can't wife.
I got you.
And all of a sudden, she now becomes no. That's not what makes a woman a wife. A wife is a type.
Gotcha.
So a woman, and then he obtains favor from the Lord. So your mom would have been that person. So she was the Proverbs woman that she needed to be, and she's the wife. And then he reaped the benefits of that. But she was always that type.
I got you. Phil, Mezzo from California says, where do men learn how to be the leader, or where is it expected that they learn this? What's your thoughts?
The Cosby Show. That's
oh shoot.
that's how we learn the Zerberts and fun dad and all this stuff. But for real, you learn through experience, and you learn through the Word of God. If you stick to the Word of God, you're going to learn through experience. Of course, other examples, mentors around you, examples of people in the church that you see around you that's having a successful marriage. But let me just say this. What happens in inequality of a marriage, I always tease my wife, she teases me about the happy wife, happy life. And I always rebuttal: happy spouse, happy house. Everybody got to be happy. It just can't be one side. And everybody can't be miserable and the other happy. So, vice versa. It's, everybody got to put in their work, put in their effort to really, like you said, speak the love language. If you're not speaking, if only one love language is being spoken, it's a problem in the family. And it breaks up the equal rhythm of love in the house. Because it's like I'm always submitting to your love language, but I'm never getting mine, or I'm getting mine a little bit, or as a throw in, but it's not a ebb and flow of sharing that love language of both, because it has to be both. It has to have that equal flow, or else that's where the conflict comes from every time.
And it causes resentment.
Of course resentment. It does. Of course it does.
Even though you're still functioning in a marriage, that resentment is growing more and more.
I'm sorry.
I like those balloons, man.
Balloons.
I mean, hand gestures do it. So sometimes I'm not paying attention.
Well, be careful of your hand gestures, okay?
Y'all missed
it. That was a happy birthday to me. Stop it.
Here we go.
That was all for me.
Can I say my mother's in the chat, and I want to say, hey, mommy, because listen, this woman here has Janitha Kelly. That's my mama. Let me tell y'all, to raise 3 girls by yourself, right? And instill in each one of us the importance.
Oh, she's cute. I like her picture. She's cute. What? She's
the first lady, if that helps you.
Let's find out.
She got that red lips like her daughter. Look at that picture, y'all. Look at that picture right there. That red lip ministry going on.
But the thing that I will say is, and that's why I say it's important that, to the point of where do men learn it? Children learn by what they experience in their household. Although my mother was a single parent, to Desiree's point, we were at community events and I saw my mother. There are so many stories where I would say, Mama, can I have this? And she would say no, but she would give it to a homeless person in a heartbeat. I learned what service looks like to mankind, right? So it's easier to do it in my home if, to Desiree's point, we're not faking the funk at home.
All right. Okay.
So
Okay, Quest, go
Let me
ahead.
just jump in real quick and say this, right?
And then Terry. But go ahead, Quest.
My parents were divorced when I was in the 2nd grade, right? Thank God for my grandmother who kept me in Christian education, because that's the thing that really kept me connected to everybody, right? One of the things that I saw while going to church, there were 2 families in particular, and P, you know both the families. One is the Neves family, and the
Yeah.
other's the family. Brother Hunt and Brother Neves were 2 men in my church that I had the random, because their daughters was good friends of mine. I had the random experience of being at their home during the week, and on any given time, like it wasn't a thing where I would just happen to be at their house at this particular time. One thing I would always see their fathers do, they had a chair in the living room, like a wingback chair. And
Mhm.
ever so often, if I was there during the week, what I would catch them doing in their living room while we just happened to stop by, they were in the living room reading their Bible.
Mhm.
Hear what I'm saying? And the
Man.
way that they read their Bible, it caused whatever they were doing in that Bible, their lives showed it in many ways, because I got to see the manifestation of that at church. Like one thing that Naj's father, like Brother Hunt, he would
Mhm.
always be in the church kitchen, like making food for everybody after church, so that AY, not too many people who lived too far had to go far. We could eat at church and be at AY. I'm sorry, MV upstairs, right?
MV.
Then
Wow.
Brother Neves, there was like, you would see it. You would see the way that they lived their lives. And then when you got an opportunity to see why they were living their lives that way, is because they were reading their word. I'm a firm believer in the fact that marriage is only as strong as its least developed individual. That's my
Mm.
word, develop, right?
Mm.
Yes.
So what they were doing during the week was developing themselves, which made them excellent servers at church, but it also made them excellent in family life. Daryl never missed piano lessons after Pathfinders on Sundays because who his father was. And his father
Gotcha.
was the father that he was because of what he was doing in terms of development at the crib. What am I saying? Whenever you're choosing your mate or whatever the case may be, who is that person as an individual? Terry was hitting on it earlier on, right? You choose who you want in terms of that. Okay, let me say this. If you are not developed yourself, what you will end up doing is choosing somebody who is a reflection of who you are spiritually. Then you get into relationship and say, oh, we want marriage and we want all of these things, but you haven't done the soul work. And I tell those people that you can't have that kind of marriage until you do that kind of soul work. You can't have that kind of relationship. That's why when First Lady down there starts talking about her mother, and you hear what she was doing as a single parent, no wonder it ain't gonna be too long before, oh yeah, when a man finds a wife, in other words, she had to be a wife long before he found her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. What I really liked what was said, Terry, I'm going to go to you. What I really like what was said. 2 things that I heard from you, Des, because I'm always talking about what I'm learning. All right. Many women are taught not to be submissive.
Mm.
Des, when you said that just now, I mean, just a little bit earlier, it hit me that, yeah, independent does not mean not being submissive. And I think that a strong woman can still be submissive, but we don't understand the word submissive. We don't recognize the word submissive because for me, um, I look at submissive as do what I say. So I'm sorry, even though Hunt was Caribbean, even though Neves was Caribbean, who you've learned from, I didn't see um my uncles and whatnot showing me that submissive meant a spiritual role instead of I'm in charge. Oh, you understand where I'm coming from? And so you find that a lot, in our southern men. I don't mean in our Delaware men. You know what I mean? I don't mean southern, like right at the Dixie line, Maryland. I'm talking about Louisiana, Mississippi. I'm talking about, and then you find that a lot in our Caribbean men. And so somewhere down the line, we've got to understand what submissive is, and there's no shame in being submissive, so that the man, I believe, so that the man can do his job without wanting to have equal roles.
P, here's the funny thing. That
I'm
thing
in
that you're
trouble.
talking about is not even natural amongst West Indian men. We
It's not.
don't We don't
Or
play
sucker.
that. Listen here, now, my girl. This all the thing I gotta run. You understand? Like it's my thing or no thing, right? So what is the defining factor according to what Mezzo was asking a while ago? The defining thing is understanding that I need to yield to a higher power, because if I don't yield to him, then she for sure, if she's spiritual, is not yielding to me.
And just
okay, whenever we read that text, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then all these things will be added unto you. I think the problem is that we're not seeking the kingdom of God. And I ain't talking about the kingdom of heaven, because that's going to come whether you pray or whether you seeking it or not. I'm talking about God being the sovereign ruler over all your decisions as a man, where you go, what you do, how you think, how you respond when situations get difficult. Are you living in your spirit or are you living in your flesh? Here's the determining factor. Whenever the difficult situations come your way, because the good is the good, it don't require nothing from you. But when stuff get challenging, the other day I was laying down in the bed and I left the seat, the footrest out of my chair, from under my chair. And my wife was like, babe, I'm telling you again, why don't you put this thing back? I'm going to get up one night in the middle of the night and I'm going to trip over this thing and I'm going to fall. And it's all because you ain't put that seat back. Now I'm in my phone like this, P, like, right? And I could feel the thing inside rising up like, okay, I'm about to blast now, right? But then here's the funny thing about it. Whatever choose, like there's that loud voice saying, bruh, lay the law down right now, lay it down. And then there's that other still voice. You know she's right. She's asked you not once,
yes.
twice. She's asked you 3 times. Now those voices move in 2 opposite directions. Right. Whatever I choose to do after it's all said and done determines whether I choose life or death.
In the relationship, yes.
I choose life. And here's the thing. After I said it, she said, thank you. The rest of the evening ain't ruined. You know what I'm saying? And all I'm left to do is really deal with me now, bro. This is
right. Your ego.
Yeah,
your ego.
Kill that. This is what I gotta deal with.
I want to hold on, Mina. Just 1 second. Terry, hit us real quick. And then please, ladies, remember what you were saying before. Go ahead, Terry.
Hit you with what? I mean,
listen, I know when you're breathing hellfire stuff right there. You sit back in the chair.
I mean, there's been so much said, and I'm just sitting back listening.
Okay.
I'm just sitting back listening. I think, the question was, folks not, knowing how to lead and follow and the whole nine. I think nobody said the word model. We're not modeling the behavior that we want to see. Wow. Okay. And so Sade said, well, my mom did. Okay. Or whatever. She was modeling the behavior. Gotcha. We don't have that. We don't have that the way it was back in the day. Just like with Quest, my dad wasn't around. You see what I'm saying? But all the men in the church,
they were there.
All the men in the church, hey, giving my mother, hey, these boys need to have some ties on when they come to church. And he giving us these ties and giving us things like that. And so it was there. And I think that, I was on a thing a long time ago when I said, I think people have forgotten their roles. And my God, the women lost their mind when I said that. I'm like, what? Mercy. And it was just, I put something on and then I went to sleep and I woke up and it was like, woof, I'm like, wait a minute, you see, he ain't answering, girl. I'm like, okay, so I don't spend my day on social media, but let me retort. Let me say what I need to say here. And so I think what happened is, like, if you watch any old films, you will see, even if you watch Roots, if you watch The Godfather or whatever, when Michael got married or whatever the case may be, you will never see anyone talking but the officiating officer. Now, why is that? Because when you got married back then, everybody knew their role. When you had a baby girl, oh, look, we got a baby girl. Let's name her Sade. We're going to teach you how to cook, clean, wash, iron, sew, make quilts, do all kind of stuff. Oh, look, we got a baby boy. Let's name him Paul. He going to learn how to fish, hunt, change the oil, build a house, do all of that stuff. Everybody knew. So there was no coming together saying, take so-and-so, and do that. You knew what you were supposed to do because it was already modeled for you. Come and get in this kitchen. Let me show you how to make these cookies. Let me show you how to do this. Let me show you how to do that. Let me show you. We don't have that anymore. You got guys, you got these boys today, and I see them weekly in my domestic violence classes. They have to go to YouTube for everything. You know, you can't
Mercy.
change your oil, you can't, girls can't boil, women can't boil water. You know, it's like, get in this kitchen. Look, put that water on. Now let me show you something. You can throw some hot dogs in there, some potatoes in there, some eggs in there, some broccoli. You can throw a whole bunch of stuff in there. Look at that. You done made a meal. But they don't know that. You see what I'm saying? And nobody's modeling that behavior anymore. We have a lot of rare, I think, what's the young lady? The new one to the group here. Desiree. I'm sorry, Desiree.
The new one.
Desiree said, well, I've never seen her before. Okay. And so Desiree said that, Spanish women and Black women are very submissive. I'm going to have to push back on that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to push back on that. Because in this millennium.
Say however when you push.
In this, however, I'm going to push back. Because this is what I have come across in my years of doing this thing. Okay. I believe this. I believe that white women are groomed to be wives. Black women are groomed to get married. There's a difference. There is a difference.
What you saying? What are you saying?
I'll say it again. White women groomed to be wives. In some cases, Black women are groomed to get married. There is a difference. And I'm not saying that is across the board, because you have some white women that can't do and you have some Black women that can do. So what I'm saying is, in my years of doing therapy and everything, I'm just looking at it and say, wow. So it was about the day for you. It was just about getting married. It was just about having a vacation to, honeymoon. It was about making a TikTok video. It was about all of this kind of stuff. Wow. So it was just about the day, as opposed to I'm getting married because what is that thing? Ring before spring. You know what I'm saying? When I was in school, there were a lot of women who were getting married before they got out of school. They were already getting married. I'm like, y'all ain't gonna wait a minute to see what life gonna bring and all of that. And these were white women who were getting married up front. They were already preparing for it. And this is what you hear in the household, because I've been in the households. Okay, so you guys gonna get married? Okay. Oh, you're pregnant. Okay, so now wait a minute. Now, Bill, you stay home, right? I know you got a degree, but Bill is gonna, Bill is gonna work, and you're gonna stay home, right? Because you got to take care of the kid or whatever the case may be. And then you have people waiting down the line, our sisters waiting down the line to get married, whatever the case may be. And now here it is, you late in the game. You late in the game, and it's just like, yo, what?
Wow, we got some trouble. We got some trouble here. We got some trouble.
I welcome it. Now, again, that's in my experience. That's in my experience, because I deal with a lot of professional Black women. A lot of them. Okay. And what I have seen is it was about getting, hey, just get married. Do you know how to be a wife? Matter of fact, do you even know what a wife is? Wait a minute. What is a husband? Are people even asking that? When they get out here, tell me what a husband is. Tell me what you think a husband is. Tell me what you think a wife is.
Okay, I don't know who to choose, because y'all are right under each other, and it's like y'all fighting hands. It's like y'all fighting hands.
I remember this is coming from a clinical standpoint, and I'm a doctor. You can trust me.
I promise I won't forget.
Let me say.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me say this, because I've heard this argument before that Black women were waiting, because I'm 38, never married, right? And I've heard this argument that white women, they go to college and those white men were raised by their fathers. So they are looking for what they had at home. The number of Black men that I know between the ages of 18 and 24 who were looking for marriage, please, they were looking to go out there, do their thing, so goes be with whomever, wherever, whatever, and then go to church on Sabbath. So to say that we don't desire marriage. Because let me tell you something. My freshman year of high school, 14, I had it all mapped out. I was going to be married by 24, finish having all my kids by 30. I thought I was going to meet my husband at Oakwood. You know what I met at Oakwood? Foolishness.
Oh, I thought.
Foolishness. So you want to talk to me and Carter and go talk to chick and Wade and then go talk to that chick in Cunningham, but I'm supposed to be looking at you for marriage?
There's always Andrews.
Or
which is even worse. Which is even worse because you're looking at me and the girl that's a little lighter than me too.
My God.
Wow.
To her
Wow.
because my attitude isn't like her, and she does what. But again, she probably grew up in a different household setting, and it's not that we don't desire marriage. We can't make y'all ready to get married.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
ready at 23. What did I?
What you said? What did you just say? You were what? Ready at 23?
I was ready at 23.
This is the reason why I'm saying that, like, for real, the soul work is a thing. It has to be done. If you want what you want in terms of an end result, and right, and it being a good relationship or a halfway decent or a healthy relationship.
Wow.
I just think the generalization, and this is what's aggravating, especially as a mature single Black woman, is that we were too focused on our careers. I tell everybody I have multiple degrees because I didn't get married. I had nothing else to do with my time.
Girl, say that.
Oh my God.
First of all, real quick. I didn't make a generalization. I said in my
No. We get that. We get that.
Okay.
Yes, we get that. Des, go ahead and don't curse. Des, go ahead and don't curse.
I've been doing good, Daddy Graham. I've been doing
good.
I've been doing so good. I've been saying don't curse. For me, I never wanted to get married. I never had the desire to get married. However, I just didn't think it was logical. You're signing up for better or for worse, and to death do you part. It's like a life sentence for completely anything, and logically, it just never made sense to me. But as a Black woman, maybe Southern, because that might be the whatever. But I was always raised as a wife. I was raised as a wife type. So even when it did come for me to define my person, I was still that. With the roles of man and wife, I do believe that Satan has done a great job of bastardizing what that looks like. We talk about these things as if there's a hierarchy, and it's not. It's a partnership, and we have what I'm saying. It's not a hierarchy. It's a partnership. And when you look at the term submissive, right, in the grand scheme of MLK Day, you have two schools of thought with civil rights. You have the Malcolm X and you have the MLK, right? Okay. So you got one person bearing arms, another person sitting at a lunch counter getting spat on and getting yelled at. Who is submissive? Which role was easier? Just because you are choosing to be submissive does not mean that you're a punk. It does not mean that it was easy. It does not mean that there is not some type of achievement in the role of being submissive. Both roles are necessary. You rather deal with MLK than deal with Malcolm. But it doesn't mean that either one of them was better than the other. So for a woman to be submissive, it doesn't mean that it's a lesser role. Or for a man to have to be submissive, it doesn't mean it's a lesser role. I see you. Hold on. I'm coming down your aisle now with this whole entire.
Coming down your aisle.
Now with the Black women thing, the stuff gets flipped. White women are not groomed to be wives. White women are groomed to be whatever they need to be, so they don't gotta do nothing but sit at home. I'm gonna say that, I'll put out there, and I'm gonna mean it, because everything. If you look at all of the evidence, that the supporting facts that you gave to your point had nothing to do with being a wife. It had everything to do with not being fussy.
It's not being what? Fussy?
Well, everything he said was to do with not being fussy. It was just, comply. These white women, when you think of every time that there is a rift or any type of like the feminist movement, Black women are not a part of that. That's the white women.
I think we should be careful with generalizing, because I know a lot of white women that don't fit into what you're saying.
Correct. But I'm generalizing, but always there's always outliers. But these type of roles do not benefit us. It does not benefit us to not have a partnership. Black and brown people are always about community. We always find community. There's always a partnership. So to go outside of that is what's not natural. I agree with Sade. Black men are taught stay single as long as you can, have all of this fun, and marriage is a weight. Mm-hmm. And Black women are taught
Okay, and who are we
That's
taught that by? The
that's
question is, who are we
a
taught that by?
relationship as well.
Because
We
you're
are
not
taught
taught
that by
it at
society.
home.
We're taught that by society because if you notice, whenever you are going outside of that, there's always strife. When you see that toxic masculinity, they don't look peaceful. They look angry. When you see a woman, I'm a strong Black woman, and what I'm not going to do, she never looks happy. Peace, she'll look peaceful.
Can I just ask so on this, right? What do you do when the woman is naturally a leader? Like she's a natural born leader. Because the more education we get, the more knowledge we get, the more, think about the career paths, we end up in like leadership roles. And for some of us, it's very hard to turn that hat off when we come home.
I'm
So
looking at two that don't look angry. Y'all look peaceful and gentle and amazing.
Because somebody got somebody wiping off her car for her. You know what I mean?
but I will tell you, and this is the point I wanted to make a while ago, is that we relationship out of our experiences and out of our traumas. And if we don't seek help for that, there's no way that we can hear from God. There's no way we're going to sit in a chair or a lounger or whatever and even read the Bible. We may get through the second word, and before you know it, our minds are on something else. We're distracted. We can't even remember that we read the whole verse, and I can't even tell you what I read because I was thinking of so many things. So when we're talking about the spirituality piece, when we're talking about submissive and leadership and sovereign and all of that, to Quest's point, if the individual is not healed or healing, just throw the bath water and the baby out the window, because there isn't going to be any of that. And then the last point that I'm going to make is all roles in a family is important. Even my daughter has a role in the house, and that is as important as everybody else's. Yeah. So when we diminish or we don't encourage all of those roles, we tend to create more problems than we even know it, right? And so I may be annoyed that I have to be submissive because every day people take orders from me, and then I got to come home and take orders from you. But if I am growing and I'm maturing and I'm working on self, then I see that as something different. I don't see submissiveness as being like a bad thing. I see it as a working wheel. And if I stop working, the wheel doesn't continue to run effectively.
Mina,
I got you.
I think what we have to understand is that we always focus on that wives be submissive, but we forget the husbands love your wives, right? So when a husband genuinely pours into his wife and loves his wife with the love of Christ, she's naturally going to be that submissive partner. We can't continue to focus on wives being submissive, but we're not charging men to love their wives.
Absolutely.
Like we cannot. We focus so much on what is submission. Sir, how do you love your wife?
But where do they learn that? So that I think the question of the night is, and we need to give a solution or something that speaks to that, is where are we learning these roles? Because if I am relying on the church alone to teach me the roles, I am not going to get on the right path, because someone
absolutely screwed.
We see people in church one way and then they leave church another way. We on this platform has talked about arguing all the way to church, and then when we get to church, we adjust ourselves. Happy Sabbath, praise the Lord, saints. Give me your hand. We're gonna hold hands. We might even be matching that week, and we sitting in church. And I remember when my first husband died, there was a couple in church. I used to be like, yo, I want a marriage just like theirs. Not even knowing the challenges and the things that they were having. And when I learned it, I was like, wow, yo, I don't want a marriage like that. But on the outside, though, it just looked beautiful. It just looked like something that I desired. Not that it wasn't something I didn't have in my first marriage, but they just looked amazing. But that was a front. Right. So
I said this last week. We put more value on extrinsic things than we do on intrinsic things.
Yeah.
I want to go back to this, and we've been saying it week after week.
We don't spend time with each other to see past that. We're in the sanctuary or in that building on that one day for like 3 to 4 hours. That's like the woman who wears the good bra, right? And you can only have that bra on but for so long. And at some point, you got to take that thing off.
Them tickle bitties got to breathe.
But once again, here with each other, I'm saying that some of us need to sit with ourselves. You need to sit with yourself in the mirror and admit to yourself the lies that you've told and the lies that you've perpetuated throughout your entire spiritual experience. Once again, my word, Paul is here. I've been saying it from day one. We have a tendency to want to deal with the fruit and not the root. The root is that you are not authentically you, and you are not authentically you because you have not spent enough time with you. But now you want relationship and you want all these other different things, and you want to put expectations on people to do things for you that you don't even know that you necessarily want for yourself.
Right.
I'm gonna give
Right?
a
I'm
personal.
gonna say this and then I'm done. Go ahead. I'll come back to it.
I'm gonna give a personal note, and I hope my husband does not mind me saying this, but just in full transparency and being personal, something that you said hit home hard. Someone said something earlier about sometimes being the stronger spouse, whatever case is, whatever. But in my husband struggled with communication with me, with being honest with how he really felt about things, because oftentimes Black men are taught to please, to hold it in.
Yep.
Don't make her upset. Just let it go. But then on the flip side of that, they become angry and resentful because I'm over here suffering, thinking I'm benefiting you. And then when you act ungrateful or require more of me, I'm now resentful. So I'm getting this from him and I'm not understanding something, and we're on the same page. We agree, we're aligned, and you're very angry and resentful because why am I not happy for all the suffering you've been doing? So through therapy, what I was able to learn and understand that in him. Now I have a choice. I can manipulate that, or I can choose to be submissive and patient, and I can provide a safe space for him to be able to be honest with me and allow that to cultivate and for that to grow, and we can have more of a partnership. And that's so hard because it's not my fault, but for 40 years when he does not speak, and now he's starting to speak, I don't always like what he's saying. He doesn't always say it right, but keep providing that safe space so that it can grow into something. Now he can become a better leader for me because now he can say things right, say things better, and be more confident in communication. And we're in that weird space where it's frustrating.
Can I read my book here?
Okay, so Armina asked the question. Armina asked the question, and she said, "What's the solution?" Right? I think we have to challenge each other. This isn't a men's issue. This isn't a woman's issue. It is a relationship issue. If I'm in relation, if you don't put the three of us at the top.
You see, she caught it. I said, okay, yes, ma'am. I fixed it. Go ahead.
If we're in relation with each other, the same way, if I want a promotion at my job, I have a mentor. I have someone I go to and I talk to about, hey, how do I word this correctly? How do I present this correctly? We have to seek that out for ourselves when it comes to how do I be in relation with other people better, whether it's therapy, an accountability partner. We talk about all of these things, but the solution is we have to be so uncomfortable with being stuck that we start asking for help.
Okay.
We have to start saying, hey, what I'm doing isn't working. Like Desiree was just transparent, I'll be transparent. I said, you know what, my last situation was real interesting. I don't need to go from one to the other. I need time. I need time to process. I need time to grieve. I need time to understand. I need time to do all of these things before I say, because if I don't, whomever I get with next is going to get the same. It's going to get the same trauma, right? Mm-hmm. But I have to know that about myself. I know that because I sat in therapy. I know that because I sat and said, Sade, you don't want that kind of crazy again. So what do you do differently? But the solution is we do have to tap into the aspect of we are not healed. We will never be 100% healed, right? Until we get to heaven. So therapy, talking to people that
there go solutions. Wait. You're talking about solutions right now, right, Armina? Because Armina is solution based.
Yes.
What would be the point
Well,
of
what
all of
should it?
this?
If we don't, then we'll be just another show that's sensationalizing the issues and never coming. You know what I'm saying?
But I think too. At the same time, this is brainstorming. You know what I'm saying? This is brainstorming. And so then, therefore, once you brainstorm, then we look for possible solutions. So everybody has their ideas, and I'm definitely, I consider myself a solution-focused therapist. Okay, that's what I do. It's not okay. We all know what the problem is. So now, how are we going to fix it? What are we going to do?
And you know something, Terry, you were saying so, and I'm so sorry, Sadia, because you were bringing solutions to the table just now, right? There was two things that you said. Can you remember what you said? Because
therapy and find an accountability partner. And to the point of if you see a couple that you think this is what I want to strive for. Hey, do you mind if I take y'all to dinner? What do y'all do right?
Ooh.
What do y'all do? How do y'all handle things when things are wrong? Because I strive for what I see.
Oh, see, that's a script.
Sade, if I was to add one to it, I would add mindset, because marriage does take a mindset.
It does.
Usually we're waiting for them to see us.
Yeah.
To mentor us instead of us wanting to have the mentee mind and say, you know what? I like that, and I want to go after that. But in order to do that, let me figure out how they did it.
But that takes humbling yourself. That takes dying to self. So, sir, ma'am, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. But can you help me? We're struggling as a couple.
So if that's the case, Sade, I think one of the mindsets that we need to adopt is that marriage is a lot more about serving than it is about being served.
There are marriage ministries that meet at church, and there are conversations with each couple of what they're going to discuss and not discuss. So like before we even get there, again, it goes right back to the self, and even with the couple in that safe space, because if I'm coming to a marriage ministry, I'm coming to learn and to give, right? And if I'm censoring what we're going to talk about and what we're not going to talk about, it defeats the whole purpose.
True.
And I did not communicate that with my first husband. And we was in this meeting and I just started talking about something that I didn't realize was so sensitive to him. And Brahman didn't talk to me for a whole week because he was so hurt that I took it upon myself to hear my words, right? I took it upon myself to have this intimate conversation with our group of friends, which I thought was a safe, intimate space. But I've also learned too that all spaces, while they claim to be safe, they're just not safe.
My God.
Come on. I'm sorry. Solution based again. Know your audience. Mm-hmm. Know your audience that you're speaking to, because I like the way it was phrased, right? Asking for an interview with modeled individuals. But again, the fear again is if you're covering each other, right? I'm talking about prayer. That's what I'm talking about right now. You're covering each other. You're worshiping together. You're communicating, just like what Des talked about, a level of that kind of communication. Then you both will agree to who you want to talk to. You understand where I'm coming from? Because there's some things you can't come to me and Wendy about because we're going to lead you wrong, or we're not there yet, or we may be able to give you good advice, but you're coming to us because of what we're showing on the outside that may not really be fixed on the inside. So I believe part of finding those individuals is praying, Lord, lead us to somebody that can help us. Lead me to an individual that can help. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Lead me to a couple that can help. Or if you're single, lead me to an individual that can help. And I really believe that our church, right? Shameless plug. I'm doing a shameless plug, y'all. Our church, we do not perpetuate that kind of talk, that kind of learning, that kind of conversation. And so look out for Unscripted Conversations Live in the DMV, February 28th to March 2nd.
When's that date again?
That date is, can I see it? Right, February 28th to March 2nd. And I'll dare even go crazy enough, seriously, because I really believe in it. That I don't even know if I said it right, did it right. I don't know if I said it right or did it right. But But the fact of the matter is that we are not, I'm just saying, we are not spending that time dealing with these issues in church. That's what we're not doing. We're not talking about it in church. We're not speaking about it in church. And I think that part of the what was it part of the lessons learned. What did you say, Armina? You're the what? Part of the solution is coming together and having this kind of conversation. That's just my thought. I'm sorry, shameless plug, but that's just what it is.
Nothing shameless in that, because we are coming together to create spaces to have candor conversations and healthy conversations as well.
Gotcha.
Well, can I speak a little bit on just quickly on mutual submission? I want to say
yes. Go ahead.
My book here.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
No.
Did you write that book?
No. It's good. You know, it's talking about mutual submission, and I think it's important because it talks about the chain of command ideas, that there's only a limited amount of power that men and women fight over unless one is given control. Okay, and it's based on the military and kingly model that God strongly opposed when Israel demanded a king. So I'm gonna skip down a little bit, and it says Jesus rejected the use of power to dominate others. The lordship meaning I own you. That's what Lord, like we say landlord, that means I own you. I own it, okay? Of man over woman or man over woman is a distortion of the image of God. To be the head is not to control, but to be a source of power and strength. So we're talking about being solution focused here, okay? And it enables others to reach I'm sorry?
I can't even get past the title of the book. Like
I know, but it's but here's the thing. It's
because
too
we don't have legit
grab you and make you pick it up. But it really is about, empowering women. That's what it's about. That's why I picked it up, and I read.
Can I see the book again, Terry? Please, can I see the book again? And I'm going to put you on solo so we can see that. What is?
See,
a Seventh Day Adventist woman, a Seventh Day. Listen, man, you trying to be General Conference president? What's that about?
Let me say this real quick. Let me say this.
What I'm saying is, she's really advocating. This book is really advocating for women. You see what I'm saying? It's really advocating for women in here, and it's talking about the separation when she says, it assumes that there's only a limited amount of power. What does that sound like? That sounds like the energy systems that make up, personality. Id, ego, super ego. One of them go fight out at the cost of the other and come up the top. I don't know. That's a whole nother deal. But okay.
So always had
you tell Heather, no, Heather, I'm calling you after the show.
Shouts out to L. David. He said it's a horrible title.
Yeah, because your husband kept calling me during my Lions loss.
Can I say this? Let me say this. What we have to take advantage of, like, let's take this for instance, right? I have gained, and let's be very transparent, I've gained brothers through this. Paul and Quest, I already know whenever he shows up, I have no choice but to have you at my wedding, okay?
That's right.
Literally, today,
that's right.
I text Mina, I was like, sis, I don't know what's happening. Something's happening, but I don't know what it is. The thing is, I think we always have people that are available to us. It's just that we have to be in the space to where I can say, I'm not okay with where I'm at right now. And if I trust you enough to have these kind of conversations, then I have to believe that it's safe enough for me to say, hey, today's not a good day for whatever reason. The issue isn't always that God hasn't given us the people. The issue is sometimes my pride is too much for me to say, hey, I need some help. And that's where we get in trouble, because I think of whenever I get married, my husband and I will be babes in marriage, right? And it takes a village to raise a child. We will be children and we won't know nothing.
Ma'am, that's a good word.
What we've read, what we've seen. And so we have to create a village of people who will say, Sade, you can't talk to him like that. Wait a minute. Who said, okay, check me. Because if my goal is for my husband and I to make it into the kingdom, we can't do it by ourselves. We 2 or 3. If we do that 2 or 3, we are one. So we need 2 other couples who are ministering us through this whole thing.
How about this?
Accountability is a thing.
It is a
All
thing.
is there. L. David is my boy, who's been my boy over 40 years. L is on the line. People who love you, who respect you, but are not impressed by you, who you give permission to check you when you operating out of character. They'll call me and say, hey, bro, don't ever let me hear you open your mouth and say that to Faith again. And then sometimes you just gotta, like, for real, you just gotta hold your corner and take it and keep it moving, because you know, once again, that these are the people that love you, and you need guidance because you a babe in the thing. Yeah, P, my bad. I just wanted to put that.
No. Let me be clear about this whole thing on accountability. One of the things that I've realized, like today, of course, no names. Today, I was planning on chilling today, just chilling. I mean, really chilling today. My boy calls and he says, yo, listen, I need to meet you somewhere. I need to have a conversation with him. We talked for about an hour and a half, right? Of course, when we were done, I prayed with the brother and I realized all he wants to do is save his marriage. That's all he wants to do. And I can't give him some situations. I just got to listen to him, because I can take him off of his road. Because as an accountability, I can't share with him what may be going wrong in my house. This is not a tick for tack conversation. It is a tick conversation. It is his conversation. You understand where I'm coming from? And I think again, Armina, Terry, we don't even know how to help people become great accountabilities, because just because you're my accountability doesn't mean I'm yours. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And I think that we don't have
slow down, P.
We don't have an understanding of that, right? Like, and I'm gonna say this, right? There is nobody that I can call and talk to and say to them, hey, you want to know something, bro? I'm having an issue with pornography, because at the end of the day, if they don't agree with me in church about something, or they don't agree with me, or this, that, and the other, I become the pastor that has a problem with this instead of the man that has a problem with this. And one of the scariest things is that even conferences, right? I'm just saying conferences. I mean, I'm an official. Even conferences don't have a way of dealing with not only men, but women dealing with issues in their marriages and in their families. Yeah. And I really believe that what God is calling the church to do in these days, right? We're sitting here talking about prophecy. We're sitting here talking about the Sabbath. We're sitting here talking about these important things, when I'm going to say this, and I'm going to push it off to y'all, that we're so busy as a husband and wife trying to get to heaven together. I need Sade to hear me on this. That we don't recognize that God is talking about being kingdom builders here on earth. So here it is that we're trying to get to heaven, the kingdom of heaven, when God is saying you can't get to the kingdom of heaven until your kingdom built here first. So why would you have a sucky relationship with your husband? This nigga is, I'm sorry, this brother is driving you to hell. You know, he's driving you to hell. She's driving you to hell. Watch this now. But then he gonna save both of y'all.
Right. Oh my God.
You understand where I'm coming from? So you got to be kingdom building here. And if you're kingdom building here, then he's ready for both of y'all there.
And so, listen, I'm gonna take that wheel before you crash into that tree in front of us.
But you are speaking some hard truth, and it's so important that we are honest with each other, and we are we are out in the open. And I understand and respect that I do not understand your plight, because I'm not a pastor in Adventist church. So sure. Yes, I can have different transparent conversations without the consequences that will naturally come. But I believe in speaking transparent, and hopefully my journey will have to be somebody else's. Like right now, God is doing the craziest thing in me, and I really don't understand it. He done told me to stop drinking, stop doing my edibles, and I'm like, bruh, I'm not an angry drunk. I enjoy drinking. I got 2 kids and a husband. I need something to take the edge off, you know. But he done took all of this, so now you're dealing with me, Sorry, I hope it's not TMI.
No. What you good? No.
But he's
on,
dealing with me.
Keep rocking.
Sorry. But, I mean, I keep 100. He's dealing with me, and I refuse to be disobedient because I do not want to have a Jonah experience. So I'm being obedient. And it's like I have no vices right now, and I'm having to deal with stuff that I feel like is not my stuff.
Yo, I'm going to say this to you. I'm cutting you off to say this to you. One of the scariest things, and I say it at all weddings, right? And I'm positive I said it at your sister's wedding, that one of the scariest things about getting advice is people giving advice and causing more vice. Mm-hmm. Okay. And like I'm gonna tell y'all right now, my wife knows my vice. She knows my vice, right? Some people say, yo, maybe you shouldn't say this, say that, whatever. The one thing that I can say that she knows my vice. She don't know when I do it. She don't know. She could be at work. She could be at social, but she knows my vice. And my vice may not get me fired. It may not get me fired, but it'll make me cloudy. That's all I'm saying, right? Well, I think what's so important here is that if one of the best ways of us making it where we need to make it in relationships is having a covering. That's what it is. It's really having a covering. And I don't think that we know what a covering is, right? A covering of a man that could be submissive to a praying wife. Did y'all hear what I just said? A man that could be submissive to a praying wife, or a wife that could be submissive to a praying husband. The thing is, there's some days, I'm gonna be real, there's some days that I like this whole spiritual thing that we doing. And then some days I don't really want to do that spiritual thing because it's getting in the way of where my head is. Are you understand where I'm coming from? I just want to be real. And this is one of the reasons why I believe you need somebody who knows who you are, who can lead you, right? Who can lead you, who can follow, who can jump on your back, who can ride you, they can ride you, because it's all about both of y'all on a destination.
Can I say something real quick? I think we confuse the fact that Jesus is our covering, right? Our ultimate covering. But what Jesus did was he stood in the gap, right? And so sometimes, let's be honest, it may not be that I'm praying. You're not feeling the spiritual. Maybe I have to fast for us because we are one.
Wow.
Maybe you doing you and my prayers, Lord, like, and it's not bring him back to me. Like, get me out of the way. Lord, bring him back to you. Get him back to where he's in you. Like, get him back to you, because once he's in you, then he'll filter back down to me. But too often, once you hurt my feelings, or once you stop doing what I want you to do, then you on your own.
Right. But you know, to that point,
Major, I just want to show you a triangle. Let me just real quick, Amina, right? Because you said something that's real strong, and I teach this all the time. If God is here at the top of the triangle, right? And then you got you over here, and then your spouse over here, the more and more that y'all move towards God, you automatically move closer towards one another. Mm-hmm. One more time. When you move closer to God at the top of that triangle, the closer you get to one another. And I thought that was major. And that's a principle that we all need to understand, that when things are not working the way that you think that they should work in relationship, the minute that you stop for a moment and dedicate yourself to fasting and meditation, and, can I just tell y'all something? I watched Red Man. For those of you who are hip hop fans, like I'm a major hip hop fan. I watched Red Man. Ain't nobody smoking Red out. Red said for the last 2 years, he ain't smoked no weed. He's been fasting and he's been clean, and he's talked about the clarity of thinking. A man who ain't even dedicated to a spiritual lifestyle that we dedicated to is experiencing that. Imagine that when the people of God start really read your Bible, pray every day, and you grow. How is it that they can understand that? And we've been in this thing for our entire life, and you still can't operate in the practices, principles, and policies. That's one of the reasons why a lot of this don't work the way that it do, because once again, we're so concerned about the extrinsic value that you're not interested in the intrinsic value. There's no way that you can get an end result without doing the soul work, period.
Got you. I'm ringing the 15-minute bell. I'm ringing the 15-minute bell. Go ahead.
So whenever me and my dude are beefing, my joke to him is, oh, you and God must be beefing because we beefing. Yeah, that must mean you and him are not on the same page. Because when y'all are on the same page,
Uh-oh.
we are on the same page.
We in trouble now.
And here's the other thing. I think
I'm
we
gonna use
also
that.
have to take into account that sometimes in relationship, right? Something can happen to the both of us, but you're a little more disappointed in God than I am. You're a little more hurt by what happened than I am. And that is if I love you, and this is not just husband, wife, boyfriend. This is in relation with other people. I have friends where it's like, Sade, I don't even have the desire to pray because I'm hurt by what God is doing. My job as your friend is to cover you, stand in the gap during those moments and say, Lord, I'm not asking you to fix. I just need you to show this person that you care. If the situation doesn't change, if they need to see you, they don't need to see me. They don't need to feel me. But that's what we miss when we get into these situations where we hold people to a standard of how I would move with God or how I would experience God. I always tell, to me, the story of Job is one of, we praise Job and we curse his wife. She lost her kids too.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm hearing us all say then is, it's not good for just the man to have a relationship with God, but the wife has to have a relationship with God also. Because, if we think of that, God, his only motive is to save us all for the kingdom, then by hook or by crook, he's going to save us. So if one person is not stepping up and following the role that's designed, and there's somebody else that's willing, and it may be temporarily, it may need to be that the roles switch a little bit. Of course, it will never be as designed. Listen to what I'm saying. Like, it won't be as designed in the word, but to save the couple, God is going to do whatever he needs to do to save them. And so,
like, take away your eating your alcohol.
Right. Someone said the ego got to go. That is so very true, is that we have got to put self aside, because self is not making it to the heaven. Let's just be very real. We're not going there. It is the transformed Armina through Christ Jesus himself that's going to get me to heaven.
Right.
Let me say something right quick as we wrap this thing up. And Armina just said something about, relationships are really easy. They are. You know how people always say relationships are hard. No, they're not. Relationships are easy. You know what makes them hard? Is people's selfishness. The selfishness is what makes the relationship hard. That's what it is. So if we could just die to self daily, you see what I'm saying? If we could just die, but see, we've been through hurt, the trauma, and everything. And so you hop into a relationship thinking that that's going to fix you, and it doesn't. And so it's just like, here, everybody on this screen is pre-owned. Okay. Now, what does that mean? When you go get a car that's pre-owned, it has what?
Mileage,
dings, mileage, the whole nine, right? All of us are pre-owned. The problem is that we don't get certified pre-owned. Okay. We don't get certified. We don't get that 120-point inspection. We don't get therapy.
You better watch your mouth.
We don't go to therapy. That's how you get certified. You better
watch your mouth.
That's how you get certified. We're all pre-owned, and we just schlepping this stuff from car to car to relationship to relationship, and that's the problem. We need to get certified, and you get certified, okay, by going to therapy, talking about those things, not jumping into one relationship thinking this is going to heal me, because a truly healed person is hard to date, because we can point out all of the red flags that come with everything. It's like, yeah, I'm not going for that. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe tree. That's not going to happen. You see what I'm saying? That's not going to happen for me. And so if we just put that stuff down, I think Rochelle was on here talking about ego. If we talk about the three personalities, I said the three energy systems that make up personality, id, ego, superego. The id, have you ever heard anybody say this? That person has an overactive id. You know what I'm saying? The id is the part of the personality that never grows up, never matures, is always about me, and deals with what? Everything that makes me feel good, I'm going to do that. Okay? I don't want to deal with that. And it's based out of what? Pleasure principle. That's what it is. I'm going to do everything that makes me feel good. Forget everybody else.
But the pleasure principle is a natural thing, and that's why I think it's important. Like you said, die to self. Like that's how we're naturally. I'm hungry, so I eat. I'm sad. So pleasure principle is what we always do. We want to get pleasure in some ways. We don't speak up because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings, because then that would make us feel bad. It's all pleasure seeking. So I think that whole dying daily is a whole entire thing. Like, people think you're selfless because you don't speak up. No, you don't want to feel bad for how you make someone else feel. It still goes back to you, and it's an unhealthy boundary.
And I understand that dying to self is not natural. Like, that is something that has to be learned, right?
Wow.
I have to study. I have to pray. Like, I have to wake up and say, Lord, like, I have to, that pleasure principle, I have to deny myself what I know is going to please me to make sure that someone else is good.
But the only that yourself is to know yourself.
Right.
Yeah,
but here's the thing.
There's that development again.
Okay.
There's the development again.
You have to know yourself, out of yourself.
I got you.
But again, you learn that through your past experiences. You see what I'm saying? You learn that through your past experiences. And that's why I said, hey, this kind of feels like, something I've been in before. I'm not going down the road again, because I got the same feeling. Nah, I've been there before, done that, and I got the scars to prove it. So I'm going to go a different direction this time.
But
so
I got a caveat for that. I
think that's self daily. Yes, it has to be taught. Just like,
but I think that's healed people, brother. I think that's healed people. People that are not
saying is, remember what I said about
operate in that.
Slow down.
Remember what I said about being pre-owned. You need to get certified pre-owned.
Yeah.
You have to get certified, and that's coming through therapy. You have to teach. We all come here with the id. Okay, we all come here with selfishness. You have to be taught to be unselfish. Okay, that's what.
Sorry, though, doesn't that happen when? I mean, there's a point that you get to say, "Aha, I need therapy." Not everybody is there. A lot of us,
you're absolutely right.
And we start saying, "Yo, that last joint, I ain't like that. I'm not going to do that again." And then we start off good, but then eventually we fall right back into our old ways of that last relationship we had.
Well, here's the thing, Nina. A lot of the times we're not taking stock of who we are and where we are. If you realize that the last 3 to 5 relationships that you had, all of them jokers went sour, it can't be each one of all those people. At some point in time, you got to say there's a least common denominator with all of these situations, and that's me.
But the way human behavior works, though, is that we may go through 5, 6 relationships and always think it's the other people. It's never us.
But we're doing it. But here's the thing. I mean, we are doing the familiar. We're doing we get away from what we know. I'll give you an example. Remember when Mike Tyson was fighting Evander Holyfield and he was losing? He went back to what? Street brawling, biting on ears. He threw out the treatment plan, as I would say. He threw out the treatment plan. It's like, yo, you didn't even get this thing 30 days. Let's see and reevaluate. So we do the familiar. We do how we know how to motivate and move in certain situations because it makes us comfortable. So as Quest is saying, to thine own self be true. You gotta know you. And when you find yourself going down that road, we talked about accountability partners. Hey, wait a minute. I think you probably need to get back because you're doing those same things you were doing before. That's just
Des, and then Sade, and let's land the plane. Go ahead.
Really quick, and the shameless plug back again. That's why this symposium is so important. Like Armina was saying, most people do not get to that point. I don't believe that Mike Tyson went back to his old ways. He never was healed from it. So he was never losing. So now, I'm losing. This is what I do when I lose. So you have people that they don't think to take the inventory of, I keep choosing the same person. No, it's men are trash, now I only like women. They don't make that connection. That's why I think this symposium is so important to get people to understand I need therapy so that I can start taking inventory differently and have a different perspective, because they never get to that point of realizing this is not normal.
Got it. Sade?
That's your 5-minute bell, P.
That's a 3-minute bell. That's a 3-minute bell now. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Relationships are not easy. I know we want to believe relationships. Healthy relationships are easy. healthy, where you have two healthy people, those relationships are easy because you have two people who are coming from a place of healing, and there's no toxic background and all those things. The issue is, how common is it to have two healthy people in relation with each other? We have to get to a place to simplify it all, to where at the end of the day, I look at every relationship that I have and I ask myself, how have I served these people? Not how have these people served me?
Of me. Mm.
We have to get to a place where it's, I am looking at every person that I interacted with today, every person I come in contact with, and I'm asking God, how did I serve these people? How did I show them you? How did I leave an impression of you with every person I came in contact with? That's when relationships get easy. But too often we look at it as, so what have you done for me lately? And
Right.
that is where it gets complicated and where it gets convoluted when we try to be in relation with other people.
I got you. Quest, would you land a plane on this? And I'm going to close off with Couture's statement. Go ahead.
I want to say this as we're closing. The story is told of a pastor who went to England. And when he went to England, he went to speak at a friend's church who's a pastor in England. And when he went to the building was old and dilapidated, and the paint was peeling off of the wall, right? And when he went there, his friend told him from England, he said, you know, there was a time where we had a nicer building, we had a nicer edifice. And he was like, what happened to it? He said, the Queen took it. Friend looked back, stepped back a minute. He's like, the Queen took it? What do you mean the Queen took it? She just up and took your building? And then the guy from England stepped back, and he was like, with this level of indignation, and he was like, well, it was for the Queen, right? And he said that was the first time that he understood the difference between the mindset that we have here in America and the mindset that they have over there in England. See, here in America, it's democracy. It's of the people, for the people, by the people. But in England, right, the mindset, it's different. It's of the Queen, for the Queen, by the Queen. The difference was that we had a democratic mindset. They had a kingdom mindset.
Kingdom. That's
the purpose is for us to understand in this relationship that while we live in a democratic nation or a democratic society, we are Christians in be ye in the world, but not of it. In other words, we need to have a kingdom mindset that says we are of the King, for the King, by the King, including our marriages. So when we come into this marriage thing, if what we are doing does not fall in line with what it means to be a Proverbs 35 woman who is a wife long before she gets chosen as an actual wife, or the Ephesians 5 man, which says you are husband material long before you have that, then what are you doing in relationships? Because once again, this whole thing is all about service. That's what Christ did. Long before he gave you word or gave you principle, he met the need. Check any story of the Bible and you'll see him in full operation. And so in closing tonight, right? And I just want to drive home. Are we operating in the fullness of kingdom mindset, where it means that God is the sovereign ruler over everything you do in terms of your existence, your marriage and relationship included? And if you are not developed in an area, to go ahead and choose a mate who will a suitable mate who will properly assist you in being fruitful, multiplying, subduing the earth, and then having dominion, then my friend, spend more time with yourself in development before you choose a mate. That's where I'm leaving it tonight.
Listen, everybody, I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. Des, thank you for your first time on with us. Thank you so much. Armina, Armina, I mean, always great. Terry, always on point. And we're praying for red lips. So listen, what we just want you
First lady is out. I'm telling y'all, by the time somebody is hear me and hear me good, somebody's gonna lock this thing up.
Yeah,
they need to.
Somebody for sure. So thank you again. Loud boy. Mic drop. All right, so here we go. I'm so grateful, but I want to just take 2 minutes, just maybe 2 minutes out to share with everyone that my church, I love my church, a Community of Hope, says that, hey, we voted that we're going to do this. We're going to do this that weekend. And so I just want to share with everyone, and then I'm going to put it up on my page. This is just the mock up. This is just the mock up. All the information is not there yet. Website there is not yet, but we want you to know that on February 28th to March 2nd, That's a Friday, Sabbath evening, and Sunday. We're going to get together. We're going to have a great time together. And I love this. We're going to be talking about solutions. That's what we're talking about, solutions. We're going to be talking about candid conversations. And if I could put this out here so everybody could just take a look at it. If you want to screenshot it, you can screenshot it. But I'm going to put it on my page. I'm going to share it with everyone here also. And then you can share it also. And then throughout the week, you can look even more. Anthony Hackett, good to see you on. Great to have you on with us. And so today I just want everyone to know that we are in a space where we're having unscripted conversations, and these conversations we're hoping and praying that we learn from it, we'll live by it, and that we'll be kingdom people. Be blessed, everyone. Continue to walk with God.